Morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Thursday, July 23rd, 2020. I often say it's 20 years past Y2K. Time is flying by. So look, if you're tired of time passing you by, dreams being lost in the wind, and not being able to move forward, join me again today. This is our fourth week. We've been talking about everything from plastic surgery, gastric bypass, self-hate, insecurity, and today I'm going to give you my own personal ABCs of how to actually let go of the past and be really happy. I mean, truly happy. So look, stick around. Let me know that you're here. Again, just to remind you, I'm on a platform, and so I can't see who's plugged in. Give me a shout out. And look, if you're a guy, Brian Johnson, if you just tapped in for the first couple seconds, stay with me. We need some men to know this is not women related. We all struggle with this. But today I'm going to talk about the ABCs of how to let go of the past and be truly happy. It has to do with our agendas. It has to do with baptism, and it has to do with contracts. So how many of you know that we actually have hitmen after us? And we're in a contract to be killed. And so today we're going to talk about my own personal revelation about that. So thank you for joining me. Get some coffee, hang with me, check in, let me know that you're here. Remember, this is 330 Media. Like and subscribe to the channel and stick with me. We are going to talk about agendas, baptism, and find out this hitman who has a contract on our life. So stick with us and I'll be right back. All right, so thank you for joining me. Again, we are going to learn the ABCs today, and I am actually very excited about this. These three points that I'm going to share with you. So I'm hoping we'll get through them today. But as always, I want your feedback. I want you to interact. I want you to agree, disagree, and I will be reading your comments as I go through. And so if it takes a little longer than we thought, then we have one more week next Thursday to conclude this whole concept of baby, you're a firework. Let's be everything we were designed to be and get what we're supposed to be already. It's 2020. All right, so look. You know, because you've been watching this, and if you haven't, I will attach all of the videos and links above. So you can click those and watch our previous videos on all of this concept. But the tagline for 330 Media is to think your best, feel your best, and believe your best. And the hidden secret behind that combo is that our brain is what we think, our heart is what we feel, and our gut is what we believe. We actually have three brains: what we think, what we feel, and what we believe. We spent the last 3 weeks talking about the whole what do we think, what are we feeling, and how it affects what we believe. Now, the point that I drew was that we need to be in alignment. Just like a car, if you're being pulled off course, one of your brains isn't in alignment. So you can be thinking great positive thoughts, but you could have feelings of anxiety and your gut could be saying, we're screwed. Okay, three different things are happening there. Today, I really want to talk about what's preventing us from getting our thoughts and our feelings aligned. And one of the things I addressed in the very first week is that we're designed to move forward in alignment, to get where we're aiming to be and to move forward. Our hands are forward, our eyes are forward, my voice comes forward, my feet face forward. Nothing we're designed to do has to do with behind us. And so I want to focus on that concept a little bit today. If you can't get your believer in alignment, okay, and we've talked about the thoughts and we've talked about the feelings, what in the Sam hell is behind us that's keeping us from getting forward motion in alignment? So here's what I came up with. Thank you, everybody. Good morning, Robin. I haven't seen you and I've talked to you for a long time. Good morning, Star. Thank you for joining me. Again, give me your feedback, give me your comments. So today, I'm going to talk to you about three things that I think are very important to discover what's behind us, drop what's behind us, and let's start moving forward. So the very first one I want to talk to you about is agendas. Okay. So today, agenda, well, no, not that one. Okay. So agenda in the dictionary means a catalog, a docket, a listing, or an outline. So I want to chat with you about how agendas, a catalog, a docket, a listing, or an outline can keep you from moving forward. Okay. One of them is agendas are obviously based on all these other words to help us define that is a plan. A lot of us have a plan. We had an idea. Maybe it was to get married at 21, have a job and do this, be making this much money by this time. That stuff maybe isn't happening. Maybe it never happened. Maybe it happened and exploded. Whatever the case may be, an agenda is number A for trying to break whatever's behind you, this moving, chasing your tail. Why are you going backwards? Why can't you move forward? Agenda is a huge, huge portion of that. Okay. A lot of us struggle with the fact that we had a plan and it's not happening and we don't know what to do next. Mainly because when we have an agenda and it doesn't happen, a couple of things fire up in our feeler, okay, is all of a sudden we feel inadequate. We feel like we were wrong. We feel like we're a loser, a failure, all those things start to flood over us. If we had a plan and it didn't happen, something went wrong is what we think. We need to focus in on how our agendas can be keeping us from getting where we're supposed to be. What should we be doing next? When do you, and anybody who's making a financial investment, I know that they would tell you there is a point in your investment that you need to cut your losses and move on. If you keep riding that investment when everything tanks because you insist on being right, okay, and for the sake of this video, I'm just going to focus on that concept. You insist on being right, so you ride that investment till you've lost it all. I'm urging you to examine your agendas today. What plan do you have? What idea did you have? What thing do you have a understanding of that you're riding and it's tanking and you refuse to let go of it because of something? So let me just talk out loud to you. And guess what? If you're watching, thank you. So let's start to give some feedback. Let's help each other. What are some ways that we refuse? Why are some reasons why we refuse to let go of our agenda? I will tell you a big probing one is a lot of us who are in religious circles, religious arenas, we have an understanding of what we believe is right and wrong. We got on soapboxes in a season of our life about what purity is and about what this is and about what's right and wrong and what we should do. And we just flapped our jibs in front of people about topics. And as we matured and we grew, we started to experience a little grace. We started to realize maybe we were being a little strong in that area. We began to grow up maybe and have a different perception, but now we're too invested to really let loose of what we used to think and grab a hold of what we now believe. Okay. That's an example of what I'm saying. Give me some concept of what do you think is stopping you? So I'm going to life coach you a little bit today. What is an agenda you have that isn't happening, hasn't happened, and you refuse to move on until it does? Now look, I have a plan with these sessions that we're doing here. I realize that if the voice of God speaks to you, and there are reasons sometimes to just stand. Absolutely. The scripture urges it. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about control. Okay. So here's another way that you may realize you have an agenda. Okay. Now, you know that I love what's true in the natural is true in the spiritual. Okay. Here's a perfect example of that. Anxiety is the physical manifestation of, for me, and I think anxiety is absolutely true. The physical manifestation for anxiety is I have a plan for my life and probably your life, maybe just say the people in my family, and it's not happening. Okay. Physically, what happens is when the body is expressing a feeling. Okay. Remember, we're talking about our three brains. When the body begins to express a feeling of, hey, maybe this is an agenda. Maybe we should just let go of this. Maybe we should release a little control. And our mind comes up over and says, shut up. No, we shouldn't. We have to remain in absolute control or this family's going to fall apart. I can't let go of my plan, my agenda. This conflict between with the body is a natural cleanser. Your body is a check engine light for you. It's trying to tell you something's out of whack. If it begins to reveal that to you and your logic, all the things that keep you to hold on to agenda, whether it's your upbringing, religious, a demographic, a geographic, I don't care what it is, whatever's keeping you shutting that down, whatever comes over your mind, fear, and you shut your body down from a check engine light, that creates a ball of fire that's called anxiety. That's it in. Okay. Most anxiety is absolutely real. It's absolutely chemical. But it's because your brain, your hearts are releasing different signals and you're refusing to get on board with what they might be saying, what the warnings might be. Look, if you deal with regret, okay, and you're shocked you're not perfect, you keep going backwards because you had an agenda that you were going to be this and you're not yet. You were going to do, or you should have been this and you missed the boat. Regret will keep you chasing your tail. And a big question you need to ask yourself is, what are you so shocked about? What are you so regretful over? That you weren't perfect? That you missed it, that you opened your heart up to love and somebody hurt you? What's the real root of regret? Most of it is something that if we made the choice to let go of, could be gone. Resentment, okay, bitterness. Look, a lot of these things you aren't even going to know that you're doing, but find a close friend. Find a close friend and say, am I bitter? Am I bitter? Like when I walk into a room, am I terrible to the taste to everybody around? But one of the biggest concepts and understanding about what an agenda that we won't let go of does is it just begins to perpetuate our failure, okay? Because we're just chasing this. And so keeping in how we started this about yo-yo dieting and all that, one of the biggest reasons I think that we do that is because we're battling with failure. We're not recognizing, hey, that was a season of my life and I did well. And then I got off course and now I'm going to get back in the game and try another version. We're not, it's black or white. We succeeded, we failed. And then we spend weeks or months or hundreds of pounds until we finally will let go of the fact that we had a plan and it didn't work. What's plan B? Come on. Shame will kill us at every corner, at every turn. Here's the difference between guilt. Some of us may have some guilt because maybe we did miss windows of opportunity or things did happen. We have windows of guilt. Guilt is, I did something wrong. Man, I just shouldn't have said that to my sister or my mom or my friend or my husband. That was just wrong. We can go and we can rectify that. We say, I'm sorry. When guilt turns into shame, shame says, I'm not just guilty about what I did. I can't fix this. Shame says there's something wrong with me, not just with what I did. And so when we start to walk in this concept that we're the problem, for me, this revelation made it very clear how somebody takes their own life. As disturbing as that is, in that moment of time, they've been absolutely convinced by shame that there's something wrong with them. And if they would just disappear, even if it means leaving kids, leaving family that love them, that they love. The bigger problem is shame has told them that there's something wrong with you. We need to deal with shame. We need to deal with shame. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. In this moment, I can't do that. Brene Brown has covered the market on shame, and her Daring Greatly book will bring so much revelation to you about the difference between guilt and shame. Go watch her on YouTube. My job here is just to life coach you, to ask you some questions, and share with you my personal revelations about how to get moving forward in happiness. But I have no problem saying Brene Brown got that covered. Go watch her videos on shame. It will blow your mind. We need to deal with shame. We need to deal with our agendas, our anxiety, our frustration. It's not because everybody's around us is an idiot. It's because we have a plan and nobody else is on board with it. It's a good possibility it boils down to that. So A in our ABCs, again, thank you for joining me. I just went right into preaching because we have spent a lot of weeks talking about the problems, the brains. Today, I just wanted to give you some practical ways that you can examine your life, zero in on your brains, and find out what is going on and what might be happening with you. Because look, happiness, true happiness. I don't mean just buying a new piece of jewelry to make yourself happy. I mean genuine happiness that flows, that doesn't have an ending, is your destiny. You were created for that. And if you're not experiencing it, I came up with a couple ABCs to maybe help you get on board with what that is. So give me a shout out. Let me know you're on board. Let me know you've not fallen asleep. Okay. So do you have anxiety, regret, frustration? Are you easily triggered? Do you deal with guilt? Okay. Do you deal with shame? So we're going to talk about our number 2. Okay. Is baptism. So let me explain to you a little bit of what I mean by baptism. Baptism is that place. My daughter has a pool. We were at the pool the other day, and this weather's been really hot here in Ohio, really excruciating, really humid and funky. And one thing I realize about a pool is even though I don't feel like getting my hair wet and getting all that, if I'm going to be outside and we're going to have dinner and we're going to do our thing there, the best thing I can do is submerge myself in water. It absolutely brings my body temperature down. Now, the thing is, taking your head underwater will absolutely do it even more. And my other daughter and I were sitting there and she was drenched. She was in that mode where she just could not get cooled down. And I said, Sharon, I don't feel that way at all. And I realized it's because I had completely submerged in water. She had not gone in the water at all. So she was battling all of the elements and none of her system was shut down, saturated, refreshed. Okay. Baptism is a huge topic. Okay. And maybe not one that you're seeing a parallel with, but I just want to talk about water. Okay. I want to talk about refreshment. I want to talk about our body temperatures because, again, we are talking about why aren't you moving forward? Why are you chasing your tail? What is behind you that we need to deal with? Baptism is purification. It's a washing. We know that a baby can be saturated, but for a second, I just want you to imagine when we have ever seen people walking into water and being baptized. The actual understanding of leaving everything up on the grass and that you actually walk down and you feel yourself getting deeper and you submerge yourself in water. The whole concept of baptism is that in that moment, you realize it's gone. You've just surrendered to something much bigger than you. You have submitted your body temperature and all of the elements and all of your past to something bigger than you. This is a beautiful process to do as an adult. Okay. Some of you, it may not even be in your bandwidth that this is something that you could do as an adult, because we grew up Italian and the priest did it and it's over and done with. Baptism is way bigger than that. But let me tell you a couple of things that the Lord was kind of sharing with me this morning about how you may know you need baptized in your thinking. Okay. You may need to actually call your pastor and get baptized. But today I'm talking about in your thinking. Signs of dehydration. Okay. We know if we're dehydrated, we need water. Okay. Signs of dehydration. And if you know me at all, I just love the practical application. I like to make things very clear, very broken down. Look, confusion, dizziness, and fainting are immediate signs of dehydration. So are you confused? Are you dizzy, spinning around, doing the same thing? Are you fainting? An idea of what fainting could be. Do you just tap out on projects? Do you just not even want to get involved? Are you just completely blacked out? You can hear what's going on around you, but you're out of it. More specifically, okay, is bad breath. I did not know this, but bad breath is a sign of dehydration. So look, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you all negative breath? Is what's coming out of you bad? Is what you're putting on everybody else bad? Does everybody around you know you're putting off this odor? And even though it's right here, you're clueless? How's your spiritual bad breath? Ask a friend. Ask a friend and be willing to hear the truth. Again, putting aside your agenda, in order to move on to the B, we need to ask ourselves some questions, but we need to ask some friends some questions. So how's your spiritual breath? Are you the only one that knows that you're miserable, you're negative, you're stanking up the room, but you can't even smell it? Okay. Decreased urine is another way to know that you have a dehydration issue, that you need water. Okay. So for me in the natural, that means, are you releasing toxins? Okay. I gently talk to you about the concept that we have the 3 brains, but we actually have 5. Okay. Our kidneys are our processors. Okay. They're the way that we're thinking about stuff. They're the trap that we can be stuck in. I think I already shared with you. My father-in-law was in ICU. He didn't want any heroic measures. The doctor looked at me and my husband and said, his kidneys are shutting down. So he's going to hospice and he will not be on this planet much longer. That's how crucial your processing is. If you're not processing right, and that what you're expelling in your toxins, you're not getting rid of it, okay? Decreased urine is a sign that you are dehydrated, that you need water. If you're not processing toxic thoughts, behavior, and things that are coming at you properly would be, look, we cannot hide in a bubble and avoid toxins. They're everywhere. Emotionally, we cannot hide in a bubble and avoid toxic people, toxic things. We can't avoid the billboards with the gorgeous woman telling us that if we're not a size 3, there's something wrong with us. Those are toxins. They fire at us at a rapid pace, but our body's wired to go, that's not right for me. And I pee or I poop it out, period. We've talked about this before. Do you have a pooping problem? Do you have an emotional peeing problem? Are you getting rid of your toxins, or are you insisting on holding on to them? Okay. Sluggishness, fatigue. Look, this is a huge thing. If you have dreams and you have desires and you just keep saying, I just can't even deal with it. I can't even move forward. I just don't even want to. Your mind desires the things that you were created for. Your mind is already there, but your body will not supply you the fuel that you need to get there. This is a sign that you need water. This is a sign that you need refreshing. This is a sign that you're depleted. You have 2 options at this point: to continue to do the same thing the same way and expect a different result. And that's what? I won't even insult you and say it because you all know it's insanity. I guess I did say it, but you have two options at this fork in the wall. If you're sluggish and you desire things and you're not getting them, you are either going to continue to do it the same way or realize that you need something fresh, something new. You need life-producing water. You need something coming in that's fresh, that's renewing you. Now, the interesting thing is to tie this whole thing together with diets and eating habits. Sugar cravings are a sign that you are dehydrated. You desire things that are bad for you, and they're going against what your goals are. So look, as a life coach, what we do is we sit with you and we say, where do you want to go? I just want to help you get there. Where do you want to be? I want to help you get there. You lay out with a life coach all your dreams, all your desires. And the life coach is supposed to say, that's awesome. And then you meet with them on a weekly basis and they remind you, hey, if you want to change your course, that's fine. But what you originally said was this. If you're always off course, if you always find yourself not sticking to what your original desire is, then you have a water problem. You have a dehydration problem. You don't have the right thing in you that's producing the change to sustain you. Does that make sense? You're craving toxic people, toxic behavior. Remember, we talked about your connection. If you're not connecting with the right people, you're going to remain addicted to things that are frivolous. So you have a dehydration problem. Terry, what do I do with that? I'm going to tell you some practical ways that you can be baptized and begin to walk and function. Again, my job here, to be very honest with you, is to absolutely plug personal life coaching and inner healing. I do both, but find somebody. The Unleashed Healing Center in Boardman, Ohio, we do Zoom appointments and all of that. The goal here for me today is to make you go, holy cow, I need to call somebody. I got an agenda I won't let go of. I'm empty as all get out. I'm dehydrated. I can't do a thing that Terry was talking about. And then when we get to number C, you could also call for that reason. So let me get to where I'm going here. These are the signs of dehydration, just to remind you. So several years ago, my whole family, we had a tradition and we would go to Watermere Park and it was so much fun. And one of the great things, it was fun, but the whole thing is water, which water equals a bathing suit. And it either equals refreshment or I refuse to be in a suit and I'm overheated. Okay. So, typically because you're with the nieces and nephews and everybody's going to have fun, but back in the back of your mind, you're like, oh my God, I've got to parade around and try to be happy and comfortable in my own skin. And I remember being on the lazy river ride. It was really what I wanted to do because I thought, ooh, I could get refreshed, but this is in secret because we know a lazy river ride is a predetermined course. You get on a raft, you get in one of those inner tubes. If you fit, if you don't, you just hold on to the side. Okay, I get you. But you grab a hold of this inner tube and you don't have to think about a thing. You don't have to think about a thing. So here I am. This was going to be my place. I could hide out and bring my body temp down. Okay. Just to realize this friggin' lazy river went through the entire water park. But not just that, it went under all the bridges in the water park. And so as I'm laying there trying to be completely relaxed, there are people, masses of people looking over the bridge at angles of myself that I would never have fathomed people would have seen that day. And because I'm such a natural example person, God began to speak to me and said, this is a big portion of your problem. I have a map set out for you. I have a plan set out for you. All you need to do is get in and rest in me. You're going to hit side walls, but you're going to boomerang back right in. You may come under a waterfall and things may come crashing down on you, but you're going to move right out from underneath it. And if you trust me, all these things will be refreshing. And this all sounded really good. And then he said, but people are going to have to see you in your most vulnerable place. And until you can do that, you will not be able to experience all I have for you. I meaning God. Let that sink in, because that's good. That has never left me. A lazy river ride is predetermined. Okay. It's laid out for you. There's a course set for you. Okay. You're going to hit walls and bounce back and forth. You're going to go under waterfalls. And if you let them be refreshing because you're not worried about your hair and your makeup and all of your plans, they will refresh you, even though they seem scary. And even though they might be a downpour and you just think you can't handle anymore. But if we aren't willing to be vulnerable, if we're not willing to let people see us in the exact state that we're in, we will not be able to experience the benefits of the water. We will not be able to experience all that God has for us. So my question for you, and every point that I'm making today, is about surrender. It's completely about surrender. Can you let go of the agenda? Can you let go of people that have hurt you? Can you let go? Can you be seen in your weakest, scariest, vulnerable position so that you can get where you want to go? Can you? Will you? Are you running hot with anger all the time? You need a lazy river. Do you have a plan and do you have an agenda? You have a lazy river water thing. You need to be able to crawl up in and chill out. Okay, so I know that one of the things I wanted to talk about, and maybe it's just all that it's supposed to be, but I think I'm going to go back for a second, because when we were talking about agendas, and while we're right here and we're talking about, being able to release things, we're talking about this is all about us. The good news is this is all about us. We have the power to flip the switch here if we are willing to take some ownership, if we're willing to be vulnerable. Unforgiveness is a big, huge point of topic here. Okay. Unforgiveness is a reason why we can't let go of the past, why we can't let go of an agenda, why we can't let go of things that have hurt us. Agendas unforgiveness is a huge portion of that. And I want to address the water issue in regards to unforgiveness as well. Look, for full details, Joy Chikanoski with Real Living Ministry, we had a great conversation about forgiveness, and I will attach that video in this video for you to get the full scope of that. But look, forgiveness is releasing somebody from not meeting your expectation, your agenda. Your first knee-jerk reaction may be, that's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. I can't forgive somebody because they hurt me. Well, my question is going to be, how did they hurt you? Because you had a plan and you had an expectation and they did not meet it. Look, I am agreeing. All of this ideal isn't because you are being selfish. We have ideals as children that when we cry, somebody's going to feed us. When we cry, somebody's going to come and find out if we need a diaper changed. We learn trust and we learn all this stuff at infancy. If I cry and nobody comes to my aid, that sucks as a baby. That is not right. That is abuse. Yes, it's all those things. But in all reality, It's because there's a plan in me. I'm wired for a plan. Okay. And I hope that's a good illustration, and you can see that for what I want it to be for right now. As adults, things have happened in our past. They've created boundaries in us and all these reasons why we shouldn't forgive and but look, forgiveness is about us. Forgiveness, and I love this analogy, is like drinking poison and hoping somebody else dies. Forgiveness is about releasing people from not being perfect. Whether they should have been perfect because we were an infant, or they should be perfect now because we said I do in front of a room full of people. Forgiveness is about, I had an idea how this was going to go. And some of the ideas, as in infancy, it's the way it should have gone. I get that. But I have a plan and somebody failed to meet that plan. I can release you for not being perfect, because as I release you, I begin to flow water to myself of nourishment and grace for my own forgiveness I need. I begin to be able to be seen vulnerable because I've accepted that perfection doesn't happen. I have to, if you have a wall of unforgiveness, the water that needs to come to you. Okay. I'm going to just say it. The scripture says the river of God flows out of our bellies like living water. Look, if it ain't flowing and it ain't bringing the healing, that means it ain't getting in. What's your walls? What's your walls? Are they your agenda? Are they your plan? Are they unforgiveness? What are your walls? Forgiveness for ourselves, forgiveness for others has to happen, or we will continue to chase what's behind us and stay in this circle motion, chasing our tail. We won't advance. We won't advance. And then we'll be in total conflict because everything about us is wired to advance. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. Just take a second. Think about that person that you're thinking, no, screw that, Terry. I'm not going to forgive that person. Okay. And imagine that you're a boat. Okay. And you're docked, you're swaying, and you could hear the water gushing, and your boat's hitting the sides. And okay, the boat is wired to be out in the vastness of the water. It could handle that. That's where it's supposed to be. But temporarily, it gets docked. We're wired to be out in pastures. We're wired to have water flowing. We're wired to do great things, but temporarily we get docked. How long we stay docked is up to us. Forgiveness for me, this was a perfect example, or this was a personal example of forgiveness for me. How long will I stay docked to the people that have done me wrong? Because I can be free and they never have to change. If the person who did you wrong is the boat dock, they can rot there. They can rot the same exact way they are. They can never change. But I can undock myself from them, and I can go out for everything that's mine for the taking. I can go out and experience freedom and the refreshment of the water. I choose whether I choose to say docked, whether I choose to limit myself and hope it screws you over. It doesn't. Forgiveness does not say, I agree with you. Forgiveness says, adios, I'm going to get what's mine. I'm going to undock myself. I'm not going to stay here hoping you change so that I can experience happiness. You don't have to change. I could process with a life coach and get some inner healing and understand that you can't change for whatever reasons, but I can still be free. Water is a huge, crucial thing in our healing for me. A lot of it boils down to water. A lot of it boils down to water because we are majority water, because God is the living water, because healing comes and we'll know it's there when water's bursting out of our belly. Not bad breath, not anger, not resentment, not frustration. There are very classic key ways for us to determine where we're at. Okay. Should I keep moving on? I'm actually Somebody give me a shout out. Should I land it? Should I pray for us? Should I stay right here and save contracts for next week? Or should I keep moving forward? Someone give me a shout out. What should I do? If we were in a congregation, somebody would be saying, oh yeah, or no, pull the plug. Sometimes when my sister asks that, I'll be the one that goes like this. So I need a friend, I need a sister, somebody to say, wrap it up. Okay, here we got, I got a response. All right, Dina, you didn't tell me to keep going, but you said this is amazing. So I'm gonna keep moving. Oh, Dina said my brain's on overload. All right, so should I stop? Maybe pray and let this marinate. All right, very good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to plug next week, because one of the biggest revelations I've gotten from God for my own personal life, it has to do with contracts that we make. How many of you ever seen The Bodyguard? Okay. The Bodyguard, the whole show is about a hitman that was hired and paid to kill Whitney, right? Rachel Marin. Even when the sister changed her mind, I hope you've seen this, spoiler alert. If you haven't, I mean, where have you been, under a rock? Anyway, even when the sister changed her mind, the money was made, the contract was made, and the hitman was not going to stop until somebody died. A lot of times, most times in our own personal lives, we are our own contract maker. We make a hit on ourselves. I'll never succeed at a diet. I'll never get better. That person will never change. Our words become like webs. We trap people, and what we've done is make spiritual contracts, and we've become hitmen for other people and for ourselves. And the devil isn't going to stop until whatever you declared happens. Next week, we are going to talk about contracts. We are going to talk about and discuss, what contracts are you under? What have you made? Why does the devil keep coming after you? Why does crap keep happening to you? Where are some contracts, some agreements that you've made that we need to find and you need to break? So that's going to be our AB. That's our C for next week, is contracts. So share this video, like this video. I think that this is powerful stuff, because it's not my great idea. This was just stuff that God has given me, and it's just the start. Look, I know everybody has their own ABCs. These are mine. But for right now, today, here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath. Put your hand on your heart. And just give yourself permission to not be afraid to feel. Don't be afraid to feel all this, to be exposed. And look, I just want you to imagine that it's hot and sticky, and you've waited your turn for the lazy river ride. You've paid your ticket. You've got skin in the game. You're going to do this thing. And the guy says, okay, you're next. And he brings that inner tube over to you, and you start to panic because it's so small. You might not fit. Just get there. And just say to yourself, I can do this. I can do this. And just imagine you crawling up into that inner tube, resting in the plans that God has for you that are already laid out. And agree, and don't go in surprised. You're going to hit waterfalls. You're going to bump into people. You're going to hit the sides of but your eyes could be shut the whole time, resting in surrender that the course is already charted out. And now you're there. Okay, we got that. Now go and imagine there's people standing up above you watching, analyzing your bathing suit. They're standing there with their French fries and their hot dogs, and they're laughing, and you wonder if they're laughing at you. You wonder, good God, what kind of angle do they have? How are they seeing me? And just say to yourself, who cares? Who cares? Because I'm headed somewhere. I'm going somewhere. I'm safe, And this is all part of the ride. I need to embrace the people and how they see me. I need to be okay with the way I look, the way I feel about the way I look, all of it. Because I have a destiny. God has a plan for my life, and I want it. It's 2020, guys. Do you want it? I guarantee most of us will say, holy cow, it's already the beginning of August soon. Did I seize this season of time? Did I do what I wanted to do? Not your mom, not your dad, but all that's life coaching stuff. What you wanted to do. Don't waste any more time not being able to surrender to God, to the water, and to the way people see you, to all of it. Look, I will just tell you, the big thing about these contracts is their arrangements, their frequencies, the power of our words. And I will assure you, anybody knows, you don't turn the faucet on and have your curling iron dripping through the sink. Power and water do not connect. Water is power in itself. When you amp it up with more power, it's very dangerous. It kills you. Look, surrender, because you're the power in this scenario. God is already happening. He's already everything that we need. But when we get in his lazy river with our agenda and our plan and our power, things get really ugly. And if you Google that or YouTube that or whatever you need to get the answer, most of those arrangements end in death. So I bless you guys today. Let's do this. Let's get free. Let's get over ourselves. And let's get everything that belongs to us. I love you all. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for watching. Again, my desire is to set people free. And my desire personally is that I keep making these videos. It's my version of the lazy river. I keep pressing forward no matter what people think, no matter what people say. So I will say, share these videos, send people to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, and let's get our voices heard. You all have something to say. So I love you. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me. Let me play my little end cap, 330media.com. Have a good one.